Really? Even though they don't have as much chunk, it still does. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Chai Together. I am your host and founder, Pratibha Day. Today, you are tuning in for your cup of courage, hope, and imagination. So we use courage on this platform to showcase our stories. We use hope to overcome. And we use our imagination to resonate and understand with the stories that are being shared. So I have with me my friend, Empress C. Ooh la la. And you totally look like one. How'd you get the name Empress C? You came up with that yourself?
Actually, no. When I was living in Singapore, my financial advisor, who became a good friend of mine, he just says, every time you come in here like this empress. I said, well, because I am an empress. And so since then, whenever he sees me, he says, Empress C, and that stuck with me probably about 8 years now.
Not like Nefertiti, like a queen, just empress. I like
it. Whatever, but the empress just, it flows.
I like it so much. Tell us where you're calling from.
I am calling from Sydney in Australia.
Oh, I keep forgetting and totally thought you were in UK again.
No, I haven't been
made
in
my
the
post, I put UK, and I'm like, wait, I think she's in Australia.
Yeah. Well, I was born there, but I haven't been there for a long time. So yeah, I'm in Australia at the moment.
See, I was right. And in your bio, which I'm going to read now, may I? It says UK.
Yes, you can. Thank you very much.
So Empress C is a certified holistic wellness coach. I'm sure you could see that. Energy practitioner and yoga teacher. After completing a law degree in the UK, she spent a decade working globally as a vice president in the investment banking industry. In 2015, various life changes happened, coupled with her passion to support the well-being of others, resulted in her creating a wellness practice called Souls in Control, with an S. Using coaching techniques, remedial yoga therapy, mindfulness activities, and an array of energy healing modalities, Empress C successfully helps her clients transform and heal vital areas of their lives, such as relationships, parenting, stress management, self-identity issues, trauma, career development, and wealth management. You can find more about Empress C on Instagram, souls.in.control and soulsincontrol.com.
Correct. Thank you.
Okay. So when did you come up with that name, Souls in Control? I'm just digging into the names here.
That's cool. Actually, I was literally divinely inspired. It just came to me one day and I thought, okay, that's got a vibe. It's very much in line with the things I do. I'm very much coming from a place of our deep-seated soul, and I do soul work. So that vibes. And then later on, when I was doing more studies and thoughts about things, I very much feel that, there's that old adage, we have plans and the universe laughs. And it came from that mindset in terms of our souls actually are in control. We may feel like in this life that we have things down pat, we are in control of things, but literally it's got nothing to do with us. We are just on this journey, evolving and growing, and we have literally no control. And then I thought, that's why I was guided to say our souls are in control. So that's where it came from.
I like that. So is that like soul therapy, or is that something different, what you do?
Well, what I do is I get people to tap into the fact that we are all spiritual beings on this earth having a human experience. And for whatever reason, our souls, our innate spirit that's connected to the universe, has us on this journey. We're not here for a picnic in the park. We're not here for this utopia life, because the earth certainly isn't that. But what we have is all these challenges that we go through, and our souls want us to evolve so that we can ascend and be better beings. So the work I do is for us to get in touch with our soul and to understand what's going on, and use various tools to help us to get through the challenges that we have in life, so that we're not manic depressives and alcoholics and all these other things that happen to us when we don't know how to manage our being.
Yes, no, thank you to all of that. How many years have you been doing this?
I've been doing this full time for the last 6 years.
Wow. How does it feel?
It feels really good. It feels excellent, especially when I have a particular client who came to me with various problems, anxiety, trauma, whatever that may be. And then we go through a transition working together, and they come through and realize how far they've come. You know, sometimes they don't even see the journey that they've gone on, and then they come out and do amazing things. And that is a good feeling for me, especially also whatever comes up for clients typically either is something that I've gone through or is resonating for me at that time. So I grow with them, and it's usually a lovely partnership. And yeah, I love it. I love doing what I do.
And you had training for this as well, right?
I've
Just
done,
experience.
yeah, I've done various things. So as you mentioned earlier, I've done certifications in holistic wellness coaching, and I am a Reiki master. I've done work on crystal dreaming, which is another modality that helps us to do. It travels across time and space. It's very woo-woo sounding, but it's an excellent method of managing trauma and other ailments that are physical ailments as well. So I've done a lot of studying. I'm a serial student.
I know that. So I just want to say, may I say your real name or no?
Yes, you can, but it's not the name that I use in my work, but sure.
So I've known Cherine for what, about a year and a half now, and I can say you truly helped me, you know, manage and like with the thought process and all. I remember when we had spoke those few times, and regarding the one situation, and you were just like, to just let it go. Why do I feel the need to reply? And it's like, you need to hear it from someone else, and I feel like you're that person. Like, do people usually come to you for like mentorship, etc.?
It's always been the case, and I think that I've always had this kind of nurturing maternal thing. Even when I was in my roles in the banking industry, I was a mentor. I've always mentored people. I've always been the person that people come to for advice and speak to. And yeah, so it's just been that I've had a natural propensity to do that.
Firstly, I love your outfit.
Where's
it from?
It's from a designer in Singapore where I used to live for 11 years.
I like it. You clean up nice. I've seen you in both ends. I want to ask.
What do you want to say? This is me. I woke up like this.
I have to say, you have some great posts. For those who are not following Empress C, you should go follow her Instagram. You've been posting great content. So are you holding the fort down yourself? Are you doing all of this yourself?
Yes, I am. I get inspired every few days, and I just create some stuff. But yeah, I like it actually. I'm very much into writing, and I get inspired to just share, and so that's what I do. And pose.
So I
I
have a
like to
question.
pose as well.
What'd you say?
No, I said I also like to strike a pose, so you'll see lots of me posing and enjoying myself. I just like to have fun. I don't take it very seriously at all.
No, we're not getting out here alive. I said that today on a Clubhouse call. But
okay.
I wanted to ask you, as I was reading your bio, you know, something that stood out to me regarding stress management. And I know in spirituality, Sadhguru says, you know, why would you want to manage stress? What are your thoughts on that? Because do you feel, this is like a packed question, but do you feel like, you know how people may say, like Jay Shetty's brought this up before, that people may think that monks have it easier, or like gurus, for them to say that because that's what they do for a living. You know what I mean regarding stress? But I know Sadhguru said he hasn't said he's had stress, but he said he does get annoyed by the volunteers, but they're volunteers, he can't fire them. But regarding like managing stress, do you feel like that is what it is, or do you more so lean towards, why should we be stressed in the first place? You know, why would you want to manage that?
I would agree. I think that as humans, we naturally go into that space. Our mind can very easily go into a negative mindset. And so it's training yourself to have that awareness and shift that. When you're having a feeling that doesn't feel good, shift it to something that does feel good. So in terms of managing stress, I guess that it's something, when I use that terminology, that's something that resonates with people. But what I try to teach them is that take a step back and look at what's going on. Why are you feeling this way? And manage those emotions and be gentle with yourself. We have all these expectations. I just did an actual post on that. We have all these expectations. Management or a lack of management of those expectations that cause us to go into this spiral. And so I think it's just awareness, raising your awareness and shifting your vibe, changing that behavior that's surrounding what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's what I think needs to be done.
I really like that. And, it is catchy to say stress management, but I remember when I went through Bob Proctor's program, they were stating the same thing as in why to manage stress. I think Bob may have mentioned the same thing. But I have another question for you. And as I was reading your bio, it came up again because it's just generally something that comes to mind, as in, because I was speaking about this today, like when you do yoga, meditation, all the, great healing things, right? Like Reiki, whatever, right?
Yeah.
In general, like not just you. And to teach someone else how to heal themselves, do you feel that the clients that you have, what is it that people tap into, as in like it's so easy or like cliche to say like do yoga, eat healthy, etc., right? But for people to really understand and take action on those steps, and really your life can change, because mine did, right? But like, do you feel people need to be in that mindset of willingness to do it, or does that happen through you having that belief in them until they actually feel better after doing yoga, etc.,
I think it starts with the willingness and being open, and then being easy on oneself. So once you have a willingness, once someone comes to see me, that means they have this readiness to do something.
Yeah.
And then it's understanding, what are you ready to do? How far are you ready to go? And once someone's open, just saying, okay, let's just try. Takes baby steps, and we keep on evolving, not expecting things to rapidly just change, but it's having an openness that's necessary. And then that willingness has them willing to hear alternative ways of doing things and thinking, because whatever they were doing at that point led them to coming to see me, which wasn't working for them. So, okay, we have to proactively do things. Are you willing? Yes. So let's do this. And then we see how it evolves.
I like that. And you're so laid back. So you being in corporate, how was that for you? Do you feel like it fulfilled you?
It didn't fulfill me at all. It was in terms of from a soul level, it was very soul wrecking, but it has afforded me a great life. So it was what I needed to do. It has enabled me to travel the world. I've worked in various countries. I've done so many things. So it was necessary and it was needed for what I was doing and where I was at in life at that time. But in terms of who I am as a spiritual being, it was really, really soul destroying. Just the whole makeup, the way things work. But corporate life is that way typically. And it is what it is, but it's not something that I could do now.
Wow. So when did you shift? You said 6 years ago. Did that shift take place?
Yeah, so that's when I shifted completely. I was going in and out. I left, I took a year off, and then I did some traveling and did whatever else. And so I was dipping in and out, and then I just said, look, this is it, and didn't go back.
Oh my Lord. So after that, did you start, studying and getting certified in coaching, or were you already doing that while working?
I was already doing it. I've been doing it for a long time. So I've qualified as a doula in, I can't remember how long ago. So that was many years before becoming a coach full time. I've studied various things over the years. I was a radical forgiveness coach. I did, what was the other thing? Landmark Forum. I've always been doing things, getting more in touch with a different way of thinking, my spirituality. I've been doing it for as long as I can remember. So it was just a case of being ready to step into that realm full time.
Wow. So share with others what a doula is.
It is somebody, I guess the best or the easiest way to kind of get the concept is someone who is like a midwife, but without the medical qualifications. And she is there to support the mother in the process throughout the pregnancy and sometimes afterwards, if that's what's wanted. But you will be there to, or I would be there to support her to understand. It depends on how much she knows, to understand more about what it's going to be like during the birth, prepare her body, prepare her mind, sometimes do yoga. I also qualified as a maternal masseurs as well. So I did maternal massages, getting her body ready, and then being there throughout the entire birth. So when she has her partner there or not, being there to help her to understand, to get in touch with her body. It has been clinically proven that since doulas have been much more popular, that there are less cesareans in the birthing process. So it's just being there in any capacity that she needs, whether it's a foot massage, whether it's mopping her brow, whether it's just helping her with the breath, whether it's just talking her through the birth, and just being there wholeheartedly for her in that space to support her through the birthing process.
Do you feel like it's necessary to qualify as a doula, like by having a child of your own, or do you feel like anyone can do it without having a child of your own?
Oh no, you don't need to have a child of your own, not at all. You just need to be able to be in touch with another person and to put that person fully first and just be nurturing. I don't think you need to have a child to do that. No, just be very nurturing. Yeah.
I agree with that. So let me ask you now, dig into a bit of your journey. So where do you want to start sharing from? Like your childhood and onwards?
We can dip in and out. I will pick, choose, and refuse what I share. Yeah, whatever I'm easy to go with, or whatever, that's fine.
Share about yourself.
Okay, so I was born in the UK, in London, England, and of Caribbean parentage. So my parents were born in Jamaica and Barbados, and their parents came through the Windrush era, whereas that was a time when a lot of the Caribbeans were brought over to support the infrastructure in the UK. And yeah, grew up there in the 70s, 80s, and had a great life. I had an amazing childhood, had a younger brother. Yeah, it was great. Lots of family over there. Lots of my family is still in the UK. And went to university, did my degree in law. It was great. Had the best time of my life at university. And then I did that. I didn't actually want to do law anymore. I'm very much a person that some may deem as ADHD. I've done so many different things. It is when I sit back and laugh with my mum, who's my number one fan. If I say to my mum, I've decided I'm going to be an astronaut today, she'd be, okay, let's find out how we can make it. And she'll be cheering me on. So yeah, I've done so many different things. I've done, I used to be, when I first started after my law degree, I was in a bank working as a IT programmer. So I did programming. And then I moved into supporting traders and moved from a London office in one of the big investment banks, and they transferred me to here in Australia. I did that for a little while, had a son, and then moved to Singapore, where I was working for the banks again for another 11 years and had a great life there. And then moved back to Australia. And that was where I just got stuck in the realm of doing spirituality. And that was, I had various crises that happened in life. That is way too long to talk about here.
No, it's not. Let's talk about the soul crushing things.
The soul crushing things. So some of them were in the realm of relationships. And what I realized is that I had a pattern of being with a certain type of person, a certain type of male that wasn't serving me. But it was really interesting to see that in those choices, I could see the pattern and then understand that it was me. It was me that had to make a change because I was the common denominator. And that's where a lot of my clients have a glitch, because I push things back onto them in terms of, we're not here as victims. We do have a role that we play in how our life is evolving. And it's not to say that if we've had any trauma, that there isn't someone who has been involved, who has participated and been the cause of that trauma. But what it is that I do firmly believe that we have contracts that we have at a soul level with our other beings, and we walk through this life creating situations that trigger us to heal our souls. So
Wow.
with regards to myself, what I was doing is that I was having my contracts with other male souls to trigger me to heal the soul level problems that I have around the male energy. And that could look like cheating, that could look like um, betrayal, that could look like not being present, that could look like emotional unavailability. So those are the running themes with me and the male energy. And that could be something I don't understand or necessarily know why my soul has me doing that, but that pattern that I keep going through has me knowing there's something within me that gravitates towards the male energy that continuously has me triggered by those events. And
Mm.
so that's when I started to do the work within and just check in with myself. What am I doing? What am I feeling? And I use various tools. Like I mentioned, that one of them is radical forgiveness. So I'm a radical forgiveness coach as well. And this radical forgiveness modality is a modality that has us checking in at a soul level to understand what is going on and use journaling, excuse me, journaling to clear the energy around what we've got going on. And everything is energy, whether it be money, whether it be us, this vibration of us having this conversation, everything around us is energy. And by shifting the energy around the frame we give around the stories that we have, it shifts the energy around what we have going on and at a soul level clears it. So it's quite deep stuff. But when I'm working with my clients, they get that clarity. We go through various steps for them to understand. And also, it's about the willingness.
Mm.
You don't have to actually even believe. You can be in complete denial that this is a true thing. You could think it's woo woo, whatever. But just by taking those steps and doing the processes, all of my clients have seen a shift, all of them. So then they're like, okay, first off, I've had clients literally say, you sound like you're crazy. Literally say this to me. And I said, okay, you may feel that. Give it a try. Let's come back in 2 weeks and see what happens. And all of them have come back trying this process and the other processes that we go through and feel the shift in energy. So that's what I've done with myself. And I did it with myself first. And that was what led me to wanting to help others.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you did this more than 6 years ago? Or was it the 6 years ago?
No, with the radical forgiveness, I did this. This has been 4 years now.
Wow. I've seen a video on radical forgiveness on a TED Talk. And so my thinking of it is when you just let something go in the moment, is it not that? Like radically to just drop it?
It's a bit more of a process because our minds are not that good at adapting to things. We kind of have to massage our minds to shift the paradigm. So, but what it is you reframe the story because we walk around with various stories that we've carried. But when we look at the facts of what has happened, it's not necessarily commensurate with the story. So it's about letting go of the story, reframing it to be more purposeful and to be more meaningful and to be more realistic. And when we have that story and then forgiving the people that we have deemed as our perpetrators. So we go around with this victim mentality. It's letting go of us being the victim, understanding that contractually we maybe have agreed something at a higher spiritual level, reframing that story and letting them go with love and forgiveness. So it's about unconditional love and forgiveness.
I like that. And I like the reframing. That's very true because it's for like how they come to you. It's like you don't treat them like victims. It's like you're not a victim, right?
That's right. That's right. And I tell them that from the beginning. I'm quite frank and I say to them, you have to be ready to hear the hard stuff. And I am not having you here as a victim. And so if you can let go of that perception of you being the victim in this story, and it's not about blame or guilt either. So they don't have to carry guilt and blame because those are the lowest vibrations. But what they need to do is be open to the possibility that there is a spiritual perfection in this story. And if you can see it from that standpoint, and these are people that it's not about religion, it's just understanding that we are spiritual beings. There is a concept of even just like deja vu, you can sit here and think about someone, and then, they call you. How does these things happen? There's so many different things that, they're unexplainable, but if you look at them from a spiritual standpoint, make more sense. And if you can just be receptive to that possibility, again, it's about the willingness, go through these processes. If it doesn't work, you've lost nothing, but you can gain so much by it making a change for you. And a lot of people see great changes. So that's what I work with.
So fantastically put together. I love it. So are there any books that have like been life-changing for you that you read over time?
Yeah. So Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. That was
I love him.
Yeah. And The Soul's Plan was a very good book. I think it's Robert Schwartz. That was life-changing for me in terms of having the understanding of this concept that we are all souls and we have had some sort of agreement prior to. That resonated with me on another level. Another book that I really love is The Body Holds the Score, and I never remember the name, and it's here by Bessel van der Kolk. That as well, and A Course in Miracles. Now, A Course in Miracles is next level, and that's something you have to repeat. But yeah, so those are some of the books that I really have loved and have played a good part in my evolution in this space.
What is A Course in Miracles about? Is that about spirituality?
It's very much about spirituality, and it uses the Bible in a sense. Now, I'm not religious at all, so it makes a lot of biblical references, but the breakdown makes so much more sense to me. Now, I'm not religious because I'm not averse to anyone being that, but there are lots of things that in the Bible that I found questionable, even when I was younger. Even something simple as, and I've told this to a couple of my clients, but when I was younger, we had religious education, and in the room, our teacher, she had this beautiful picture of Jesus with his blonde hair and blue eyes and everything. And we were reading through the Bible at the time. So that was the 80s. And in it, it describes Jesus as having woolly hair and dark skin. And we were reading and going through it. And I said, Miss, Jesus is black. Why have you got that picture of a white man if Jesus is black? And I probably was 6 or something. And so she looked at me and she said, Cherine, be quiet. And I said, but it says Jesus is black. It's got woolly black hair and dark skin. I've got woolly black hair and dark skin. He's black. And I was just so excited to learn this fact that in the Bible it says Jesus is black. But then I kept on saying that, I don't understand. So who's that? Who's that Jesus? Because the Bible says. So I've always been in that mode of thinking, and that was one of the first things. There have been many, many things in the Bible that I've not understood or haven't been clear to me. And when I've questioned the powers that be in terms of preachers or whatever, I didn't get answers that resonated and made sense to me. So that's why I've kind of not been as religious as, say, my family have been. When I was growing up, Christianity was a big thing in our family and still is in my family. But going back to A Course in Miracles, as I digress, it has things in the Bible, and I can't think of offhand right now, but the breakdown it gives makes much more sense. And having read that, I can understand where these concepts come from and how things have evolved from a biblical sense. But it's very deep. I mean, it's a thick book. Like, it's just here on my shelf. It's really thick.
Oh, so, my.
Yeah, it's a whole study course, but it's really good. You have to read it. It's a book for students. It's got a manual for teachers. It's got a lot of information in there that, from a spiritual standpoint, makes sense to me.
Oh, and you make sense to me, so I like that.
Someone thinks that makes sense. I love it.
What'd you say? You love it?
I love that someone thinks that makes sense. Some people literally think, okay.
Well, you are my friend, so you have to make sense. If you don't, how will we get along?
That's true. That's true. We have to resonate on some level.
Wow. So So, like, what's next for you? Do you want to, coach until you pass on, or what else do you want to do?
No, I want to be more impactful on a grander scale. So
Mhm.
the one-to-one coaching is going amazing, but I want to do more. So I'm going to now, I'll be working with a lovely being. She's a great soul that I'm working with, Yashi Bin, and we're creating a space for helping people to evolve in their prosperity. And prosperity is not just the financial side of things, but it also looks like the what I call the four elements of our being. So the mind, body, spirit, and emotions, and then also the bonus is the finances. So we're going to do some programs helping people to evolve in that space. And
Mhm.
if we can connect and understand the connection across those elements and impart knowledge in that using various things. So from simple movement to breath work to meditation to yoga, and working in that space to have an understanding that we are a being that needs to be in balance. And when we're out of balance, that's when life gets hectic. And being able to manage ourselves so that when we have challenges in life, which is something that's always going to happen, that
Mhm.
we check what's out of balance and do the necessary to find something to bring us back into balance. So I'll be doing things in that space. I also eventually would like to create a space, a retreat type space, a safe space for us to come together and evolve and to just vibe, and just music will play a massive role because that's my go-to for everything. But just
Mm.
I love a space where we can just come together and vibe and evolve and just feel good space. That's my
I like
dream.
that. I like that. I can
Yeah,
see it happening.
it's going to be the best. I tell you, everyone's
Mhm.
going to
I feel like
be
within the next 5 years or before. Mhm.
definitely. I'm aiming for my 50th to have my opening, so I've got 2 years.
Mm.
Yeah.
Thanks for reminding me. Happy
Yeah.
birthday in advance.
Next week. Hey, 48 and great. Yeah.
So what sign is that now?
Libra. I'm on the cusp.
Mm. Yeah, that's why you're so airy and fun.
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, I'm fun. Oh, I like to be fun.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So, are you gonna sing something for us?
Oh, I can't sing today. I've got my
Oh,
throat
excuses.
eucalyptus throat tea.
I love that mug, and I love the red with the
It's an
glasses.
indigenous print from the indigenous community.
Mhm.
They have some beautiful art over here
Do
in
you feel
Australia.
like you were this expressive and aligned when you were working in corporate to be able to dress how you are and read the things you do? And were you just the same way, or are you just more that way now?
Exactly the same. I would go to work in this outfit
Ah,
and with my hairstyle, and I've always been the nonconformist, out of not out of control. I was gonna say out of control. No, just the different one. I've always been the different one. I've always been the only black in the village,
mm,
in school, in the corporate space. I've always been the one that steps up and stands out. I used to have a big afro before I grew my locks. So I've got waist length locks now, but I used to have a
mhm.
big afro at work, bright colors, just present. But what's really interesting is that I look like I'm an extrovert, but I'm quite introverted.
Mhm.
And so I'm very perceptive and observant.
Mhm.
And well, I've just been this is just how I am. I've always been this way, and very, very spiritual. My spirituality, I was in touch with from a very young age. I used to channel information from around, I remember the early stage, about 13, 14. So I've
Wow.
always been this way and fell into the corporate space. Yeah, that's me.
Ah, and here you are today in your
Yeah,
own space.
yeah, and this is exactly where I was supposed to be. And what is interesting is that the events in my life, had they not happened, and that's why I try to get us away from being the victim. The things that were uncomfortable, upsetting, traumatizing, whatever you want to call them, that that I experienced had me be where I am today. Had they not happened, I would have continued in the corporate space. So that's what we need to understand. All the things that happen in our lives, we can choose to use them as a platform for growth. as opposed to a platform for being traumatized for the rest of our lives. And there's nothing wrong with being traumatized, because that's what we feel, but it's staying in the space of trauma. And we are in control of our healing. We're not responsible for things that have happened to us, but we are responsible for taking an active role in our healing for those things that we've experienced.
How do you feel about people who don't heal themselves? Do you feel like something just doesn't click for them, or what are your thoughts on that?
I think it just depends. There are different things. It's knowledge, it's having exposure to that information, because sometimes what you don't know, you don't know. And if you don't have the support, sometimes, or the resources, sometimes the finance, it just depends. But I do feel that anyone can do something for change. I don't think there are excuses to be stuck in your trauma. I don't believe that at all. Anyone's circumstances can be changed. It just depends on how far you're willing to go to make that change. And it's not, again, it's not about blaming, and it's not about saying that someone is responsible for it. But once you are aware that you have got something going on for you that's keeping you in a space that is not good for you, you need to do something to make that change. And just go into yourself and say to yourself, I want to do what is for the best and highest good of me and everyone who's involved in the situation, but me first. And it's about, I think what we have is guilt around looking after ourselves, nurturing ourselves. There's a concept of being self-full, selfish, and was it selfish, self-full, and selfless. And what we need to do is be self-full. We need to fill ourselves up, fill our cup. When what's overflowing, then we can start to dish that out. We have to start taking
Here, take my overflow.
Yeah, you can have the residual. Let me be full, happy, wonderful. You have the residual. But we don't take care of ourselves. We really don't. We are so quick to do things for others. And then we're left on the sidelines feeling distressed, depressed, and all these things. But if we love ourselves really, we can make such a difference. Yeah, I mean, that even just a little hug. Hug yourself. Take care of you.
Damn right.
Indeed.
No, I remember I learned Dolly Cena had shared. I don't know if you had seen, you were on that call. No, I don't believe so. But she had come on one time and she had shared, to hug yourself and say, I'm affirmations. So mine are like, I am loved, I'm supported, I'm cared by others, others help me. And then it could be the opposite. I support others, I nourish others. It's like whatever you want, but it's a skill. Like when you wake up, hug yourself. And especially for people who feel anxiety or lonely, like that will help you, affirming that someone needs you. Maybe say a name. My mom needs me. But I'm just adding on to it. That's not what the person had said. She just said the affirmation part. But I'm saying, like, you could even go deeper and make it a whole thing, to help yourself.
Is very it keeps cutting out. Oh, there you go.
I know. So, yeah. What does it say?
Raising your consciousness affirmation cards. And I created those for that same purpose, for the reason of when we can affirm ourselves, and it's not necessarily that we actually have to believe what we're saying in that moment. But when we keep affirming ourselves, our mind doesn't know what's real or not. And it's our mind that is the worst proponent of pain in our lives. So if we can start to convince our mind of something different in terms of belief about ourselves, it's so powerful. The affirming thing is a real tool that I use that is very powerful. And speaking words of light into yourself every day, when you feel something that's not good about yourself, switch it to something opposite immediately. And that can really make a change. So we can actually do something with this card. Let's do it one for you now. Let's shuffle.
Yay! Yeah. I used to watch YouTube videos about this.
Really? And I was guided to create these, and I've used inspiring quotes and inspiring people in my life to come up with the affirmations. And then I've had quotes that are
it's a custom set. You had it designed, a custom set?
Yeah, yeah. There's 52 cards, and on one side is an inspiration quote from someone in life, and the other side is an affirmation that came from the divine. And you can use these to raise your vibration and just make you feel good. So you tell me when to stop, and whatever comes through today is what yourself needs to. Okay, well, you want me to pick from the top, or where should I pick from? Anywhere? I'll move my hand. You tell me when to stop.
This one is poking out. I can't see. It froze. No, next one.
That way?
Just the one you touch, you can pick that. It's okay.
Okay. This one.
Because we already touched it, you know?
Okay. Right. So your card, the affirmation, it says, and this is relevant to you. This is the image. And it
looks
says,
like me.
I applaud myself as despite the challenges, I continue to strive and fulfill my purpose. So I applaud myself as despite the challenges, I continue to strive and fulfill my purpose. So I'll take a photo of it and send it to you. And the quote on the back says, the secret of success is constancy to purpose. And that's Benjamin Disraeli.
Wow, this is on time. This is so where I'm at in life. Right. Look at that. So did you journal these? The ones that were said by others, is that just authors, anyone? Or people you heard it from?
Anyone inspired me. So essentially, I was just guided in terms of the affirmations. And then I just found images, and I had my illustrator create the images that I felt resonated with those. Mm-hmm. And then I started to just go through and find quotes that also resonated. So that's how the process was created. And then I worked with my son to create.
How long did it take?
It took about 3 months working with my son to create them. And yeah.
That's not bad. Yeah. That's good. I don't know if you're going to say a year, which is
okay. No. It actually took 6 months for the illustrator to finish everything. But in terms of all the affirmations and everything, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Also, before you go, share with us about your necklace.
So this is a rose quartz. This is actually a yoni egg.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. For those who don't know what a yoni or egg.
A yoni is the vagina. Mm-hmm. And this is an egg that you would use to strengthen and do Kegels to strengthen the internal muscles. Mm-hmm. But it's a rose quartz, and I am an avid fan of crystals. The energy that they give, they've helped me in a lot of ways, and I always have a crystal around me or on me. And this is what I'm wearing today. And this is representing love. Sharing love with you.
I got the color of the heart. So it was so fun having you on today. So do tell us, you know, what's going on with you now. And of course, people can find you here. Is there anywhere else?
Yeah. So what's going on with me now? I'm just in the space of creating. So every solar return, every birthday is when I start my year. And now I'm looking into what it is that I'm trying to achieve. My last year was about having more fun. I was very, very serious. And so this year it's about creating prosperity and new things. And so I'm just now creating the foundation for the new things that are coming next year. And so it's going to be really exciting space. I'm going to really get into that space of leaving the 40s, entering the 50s, seeing what it means to be me and my divine feminine self, getting more in touch with, I'm used to being the leader, used to being the warrior, used to doing all these things, just taking a step back and being more open to different things, nurturing more. Yeah, I'm just going with it, actually. I've got lots of ideas, but I don't like to be too prescriptive because I say the soul's in control. I make all these plans. So I've got ideas, but I'm just going with it. I really just want it to be more at ease and grace and full of lots of love and laughter and light. I just want to be very light. I've had a heavy few years, and now I'm going into my light phase.
So nice to see. Are you going to have those affirmation cards as a retail product?
Yes, they are actually available on my link tree. If you go to my bio on my Instagram page, they are available. They've just been put out there, and they're probably a lovely little Christmas present, actually. So yeah, they're available at the moment.
Oh, I'm so glad I asked that. People should get them.
Yes. Order.
I feel like, would you have your own clothing line as well?
Now, funnily, you may say that. I actually did have one with a couple of business partners a few years ago, and I'm going to continue to do that. So I'm just getting myself into a space where that's a possibility, and aligning myself with the people that can do the designs. I want to keep them simple but fun and cool and funky and things like that. And so it's just finding the right people, and I've got them in mind. It's something I'm going to be working on next year for sure.
Oh, yay, I'm a genius. Thank you so much.
You're so in line with me.
Yeah. You know, I was researching my name again, meaning of petite, but I already knew it meant genius, but also splendor, you know, and original, you know, and I was like, yeah, that's me.
100%.
So I was like, yep, I came up with Chai together. So I was like, yeah, that's me. And yeah, like all the good things, and that I'm a light. My name means light. Like when people say, oh, you're such a light, that's what my name means. It's like I'm really living out my name. And I was just like, this is amazing, you know, that I stand for all the things and being bold, and like my whole name is just like amazing. And I'm just like, wow, that's me.
And I'd like to say that too, is that, I mean, you know, we have become friends and I've got to know you and I've seen how you've evolved, especially in this last year. And props to you for just doing everything you've said and being so full on, ready to go, and just amazing, looking glowing, looking fabulous, and being fabulous.
It's the Mad Hippie vegan products, and it's Amu Beauty. Amu Beauty. It's a line of this interracial couple, the Black and Bengali, which is not Indian exactly, but her mom passed away, so she started this line called Amu. Amu means mom, right, in her language. Amu Beauty brand. And I was one of the first people to like support and purchase when they released it, and it just feels nice, you know. It's like yeah, it's like herbal. It's comes like in a powder. You wet it, you know, add kind of. It's not clay. It's they have different ones, you know, made from greens, you know. And so I put that on my face almost every day, and it makes a difference. So
it looks good. Looks very good.
Thanks so much. Because I was on a Clubhouse call, and you know, like I was a guest today on this platform called Rich Women Magazine. And when I entered the room, I was like, wow, like this is quite a room. Like I don't go on Clubhouse. And the fact that I was calm, and I've been reading my book all day, and I went on there and, you know, I was sharing, and then the host reached out to me, who's a friend of mine, Pei Ming, and she said to me that like how impressive that was, like how I, you know, articulated myself. And it's just so amazing. Like, I don't know if you ever had that feeling, like when like you're asked to come on somewhere, it's like people are looking up to you for the information. It's like, you know what I mean? Me, as in like, not that I'm in, not like the inferiority complex or anything, but the fact that like, you know, because you know how we're always like, okay, we're not financially there yet physically, or not here yet physically, but it's like we're right where we need to be, like you said, regarding aligning yourself. And I truly feel like because I'm doing this work on myself, I've taken these 2 years, I feel like that's how I've been able to become the strong woman. And one of the ladies was South Asian in it as well. And she said that, that what a strong woman, like what a journey of mine. I'm just like, wow, this is so nice. You know, thanks.
And it's all about energy, right? Because as I said before, everything is energy, and it's the energy that you're emitting. And finance doesn't mean a thing. You know, people can have money, and let's not go there. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And it's about what you're doing. And there's always someone that can learn from us, and vice versa. We can always learn from others. So it makes perfect sense.
And I was a young guest, you know, I'm usually like a younger guest, like still like in my late 20s, but the fact that still to be 28, and then I've said this, and this, and then everyone's like, wow. And it's just like, what were they doing at 28? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, it's true. Once you come to a space where you're ready to evolve, and you've done it at such a young age, it's inspiring. It's inspiring for anyone. So you're an inspiration. And you set your goals. And I mean, we've discussed lots of stuff, and
I
you've
know.
done it all the things you said you're going to do, you've done, and more.
Wow.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
So pat yourself on the back, girl.
Thank you so much. Thanks again for coming on here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Such an empress.
You take care, and I love you lots. It's been great.